get started. Om Gyantimirandhasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikayai Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Niti Namine Shri Krishna Lila Kathane Sudaksham Adarya Madhurya Gunaisha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Shri Narayanam Tvam Shirsa Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padabja Dhritaye Kridi Chaitanya Lila Amritasara Saram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadde Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanyaya Namne Gaur Tvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे तन्नय माम चरणान्तिके भक्त्या विहीनापराधलक्षै क्षिप्ताश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्यै कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. First of all, I offer my unlimited obeisances unto the divine lotus feet of my most worshipable spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. My unlimited obeisances unto the divine lotus feet of Sachidanand Thakur Srila Bhakti Vinod, by whose mercy we have received this transcendental scripture called Jaiva Dharma, and my respects to all the Rupanuga Guru Varga and all the assembled devotees here. So, by the mercy of Shishi Guru and Gauranga, we have completed 2 chapters of Jaiva Dharma. In the last class, we discussed that Sannyasi Mahashay was wanting to take the Vaishnav symbols of starting wearing tulsi mala, wearing tilak. He wanted to take the Vaishnav dress. So even though he was staying with Paramhans Premdas Babaji, but he was still in his sannyasi dress that he had received when he was initiated into the Mayavad lineage. So when he asked Premdas Babaji, so Babaji told him that it is more important that you first focus on the internal purity and understanding the philosophy. So then the external, which is accepting the various symbols of Vaishnavism, then those will automatically follow. And even though they are important, but at the same time, more importance should be given to the internal purity. So then Sannyasi Mahashay, accepting the order of his Gurudev, he continued chanting the holy name. And one question that he asked was that how do I understand various religions in the world. So many different religions are there, and you are explaining to me regarding the eternal dharma, nitya dharma. So then Babaji Maharaj told him that he had asked the same question from Sanatan Goswami. Right? So then he explained that in religions, just like he took the example of Islam, but taking that example, what he explained was that religion is only one. The eternal religion of the living entity is only one. But because of our different natures, we have transformed it. It is seen in various transformations. And to the extent that a religion has concepts of Vaishnav Dharma or this eternal religion, to that extent, it is pure or close to the eternal religion of the living entity. So, and then finally, he explained that these transcendental topics we can only understand if we also take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. And by chanting of the holy name, slowly our consciousness will become pure and we will be able to understand the subject matter. So that's how we concluded the second chapter. Now we start the third chapter of Jaiva Dharma. And here, this chapter is called that Naimittik Dharma is to be relinquished. So, as you all know, Naimittik Dharma or the temporary religion, which we get because of the transformation of our true self. Right? So, because of some reason, well, maybe born in a certain country, in a certain community, identifying ourselves with a certain group, we start following a certain religion, and but that is only because of a certain reason. That is not the eternal religion, because that is unchangeable, right? So here he says that Naimittik religion or the temporary religion we should relinquish. So this is what is the title of this chapter. So at the start of this chapter, again, there's a beautiful background of what is happening at Godrum Dweep in the Surbhi Kunj, where Sannyasi Mahashay was staying with Premdas Babaji. So this is about night time, about 10 o'clock. And Sannyasi Thakur, he was chanting on his beads, and he was sitting on a raised mound in a secluded part within Godrum. So Godrum, as you remember, is one of the 9 islands of Navadvip. And this is where the hermitage or the cottage of Premdas Babaji was, specifically in Surbhi Kunj. So when he saw across the river, so here Ganges is called Jahannavi. So on the other side, on the northern side of this island is the Antardweep, which is also called Mayapur. And this is where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So when he looked in that direction, he saw a very, very amazing scene. So what did he see? So he said, "Oh, what an extraordinary vision. I'm seeing a most astonishing and blissful holy place. Towering jeweled palaces, temples, and ornamented archways are illuminating the bank of the Jahanvi River by the glittering splendor." So he was seeing now. He's seeing in his vision, because during the daytime he would not see anything like this. So what he's seeing is the vision of the transcendental Navadvip Dham or Mayapur. So what we see with our external eyes is not the real form of these transcendental holy places. So when we go today also Navadvip, or you go to Vrindavan, we see only the external. But even today, the eternal pastimes of the Lord are taking place. And these holy places are Chintamani Dham. They are beautiful, and they are filled with these transcendental places. So he saw all of this, and along with that, he heard the sound of chanting of the holy name and hundreds of Vaishnavas. Now, there were many devotees, and including in this group were many transcendental personalities like Narad Rishi. So Narad ji was playing on his veena. So Narad ji is an associate of the Lord, and on his instrument, which is called veena, he's always chanting the holy names. Narad Muni Bajai Veena Radhika Raman Name. So he's chanting the names Radhika Raman, Radhika Raman. So one side he saw this group, and on the other side he saw Lord Shiva, Mahadev. And Mahadev, he has a damru. What is it called? I don't know what is it called in English. So he was also chanting the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and praying for his mercy. And then on the another side, so see, all of these personalities are chanting the holy name. So as we discussed, I think a couple of classes before, that this process, the chanting of the holy name, is an eternal process. In all other forms of yoga, so whether it's Hatha Yoga or Sankhya Yoga or Gyan Yoga, all of the other processes, the process that is followed is only considered temporary. So once the goal is achieved, so whether a Jnani, he wants to merge into the effulgence of the Brahman, so once that goal is achieved, then the process is not followed. But in the bhakti line, the chanting of the holy name is the process, and this is also the goal, because the holy name is non-different from Krishna. Nam Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Ras Vigraha Nitya Muktah Purnah Shuddha Nitya Muktah Abhinatvat Nam Naminaha. So he says Nam Chintamani, the holy name is like Chintamani, the transcendental stone, which by whatever you desire it gives. So what does this holy name give? It gives the pure love of Krishna, and it is non-different. Abhinatvat Nam Naminaha Purna Shuddha Nitya Muktah. So it is eternal, it is and it is non-different from Krishna himself. So actually, as we chant the holy name and as we become pure, this holy name only transforms into the form of Radha and Krishna and gives their darshan. So this is non-different. Non-different means there is actually no difference between the holy name and the Lord. So therefore, this is the process and it is also the goal. So here, therefore, we see all these transcendental personalities in the transcendental Navadvip Dham, which Sannyasi Mahasaya is having a vision of. They are also chanting. And on another side, Lord Brahma was sitting and he was reciting a verse from the Upanishad, where it states from Shweta Shavatar Upanishad, Mahan Prabhu Vai Purushaha Satvasya Ishaha Pravartakaha Sunirmalam Imam Praptim Ishano Jyotir Avyayaha. So he's chanting this verse. I'll read the meaning. It says, that personality is undoubtedly Mahan or supreme, and he's Prabhu, which means master. He bestows the tendency for intelligence, and by his mercy, a person can attain supremely pure and transcendental peace. That person known as Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya is the supreme person. He's a supreme ruler, and he is self-manifest and possessing a lustrous effulgence due to the golden splendor of his limbs. He is the imperishable Lord. So this is a verse from Shweta Shavatar Upanishad, in which an indication is given of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Mahaprabhu appeared about 500 years ago in Mayapur, Antardweep Mayapur, and he is not one of the incarnations that is given in the 10 incarnations of Jayadev Goswami in his Geet Govind. Why? Because he is Krishna himself, and he came as a hidden incarnation for a very special purpose of giving the Unnat Ujjwal Ras. the bhakti ras that had not been given since the last day of Lord Brahma. So he did not reveal himself. Krishna, he directly said that he is a supreme Lord. In Gita, he clearly declares. And in many other, incarnations of the Lord, whether as Lord Ram or Lord Nrsimha, they clearly declared and manifested themselves as the supreme. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he kept himself hidden. But still, in various scriptures, that indication is given. So this is one verse from Shweta Shavatar Upanishad. And similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it states that Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyahi Sankirtanahi Yajanti hi Sumedhasaha. That in this age of Kali, Krishna, who is blackish in complexion, he will appear with a complexion which is opposite of the blackish complexion. So opposite complexion is the golden complexion. So he will appear in a golden complexion as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he says, Yagyahi Sankirtanahi. And he will propagate the congregational chanting of the holy name. This is also considered a yagya. So Sankirtan yagya. So yagya is not only when we are, when we lit fire and offer oblations into it, but Sankirtan is also yagya and the highest form of yagya. And he says, Yajanti hi sumedasa, those who are intelligent, they will worship Mahaprabhu. Like this, there are many, many different scriptures, and even in the Vedas, there are references of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. So he's seeing Lord Brahma chanting these verses, and then he saw many other demigods, including Indra, who were chanting Jai Prabhu Gaurachandra, Jai Nityananda. And not only the demigods, but even the birds, they were also chanting the holy name. So see, in the transcendental abode of the Lord, all the living entities are liberated entities, right? So even the birds, they have the shape of the birds, but unlike the birds that we see around us, who are in, if you remember, one of the first classes we talked about the various categories of consciousness, right? So first was Achadit Chetan and then Sankuchit Chetan. Sankuchit means constricted consciousness. And that is the category within which all the birds and various animals are in. But in the abode of the Lord, uh, they are not conditioned entities. So they are also liberated personalities. So they are also chanting the holy name of the Lord. And along with that, it says that large black bees were humming everywhere in the flower gardens, intoxicated by the drinking Gaur Nam Ras. So Gaur Nam Ras means the name of the Lord, right? The name of the Lord is Ras. Ras means a nectar. Right? So the name of the Lord is very nectarian. So just like you will relish drinking of nectar. So we of course don't have that experience, but if you have anything like relishable orange juice or peach juice, something which is very nice, right? From fresh oranges off the trees, if you squeeze the juice, it is so relishable, right? Similarly, the holy name of the Lord is much, much more relishable because it is very nectarian. So even these birds and insects, right? The bee is in the category of insects. They are also chanting the holy name. Now, what to talk of the birds and the bees, even the trees. So the trees are, again, remember the 5 categories. The first category was Achadit Chetan, living entities whose consciousness is completely covered. But here, even the trees, they are uh, also displaying ecstasy in the by hearing the holy name. So it says Prakriti, the goddess of nature, is maddened by with Gaur Ras and diffusing her magnificent radiance everywhere. So see, nature also, in fact, we were discussing yesterday also. So when we perform bhajan, when we perform bhakti, then not only we become peaceful, not only we experience happiness, but even the nature it also becomes very, very favorable. The trees, the plants, the birds, the insects, they all get benefited by the chanting of the holy name. So, seeing all this, Sannyasi Mahasaya was amazed. He had never had this experience before. So then he realized, or his realization was, that this is only by the mercy of my spiritual master that I am having the vision of transcendental Mayapur. And after seeing this vision, this firm determination came in his heart that now I am going to become completely a follower of Sri Gaurachandra. And so this was the exact determination that his Gurudev Premdas Babaji was waiting for this time, right? This is actual or real initiation. When that firm determination comes in the heart of the jiva, of the practitioner, that now no matter what, I'm not going to leave the chanting of the holy name. I'm not going to leave the path of bhakti that has been given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and we have received through our Guru Parampara. When that firm determination comes, then we actually become qualified. So, but our acharyas are so merciful that even though we are not qualified, we don't still have that firm determination, but still they very mercifully give us the beads to chant, they give us the Gayatri mantras to chant, so that slowly, slowly we will also come to the stage of this firm determination. That's why it is called initiation. That initiation means that we are starting the process. Just like when you get admission to a university, sometimes there are many different groups there and you get initiated into them, or you get initiated into the university. That means your coursework is starting. Initiation does not mean graduation. So but initiation means that now, so when you get admission to the university, that admission or initiation means that now I will follow the rules of the university, I will follow the curriculum, I will do as my teachers are telling, so I can make progress from one year to the next year, and then I can finally graduate. So similarly, initiation is the start of that process, and if we follow what our acharyas, our spiritual teacher is telling us, then we will graduate. Graduation means liberation from this material world, from the cycle of birth and death, and attaining the abode of the Lord. So, this firm determination now has come in his heart, and he says that now I will, from today onwards, I shall call myself a follower of Sri Gaurachandra. And then what did he see? He saw that everyone in this divine vision that he was seeing of the divine land of Navadvip, everyone was wearing this tulsi beads. They were also wearing tilak on their forehead, and they were also had uttariya. So uttariya is like this cloth that we put on the top, and it had imprinted the name, the holy names on it. So see, what does this mean? That this Vaishnav tilak, or even the tulsi mala that we wear, this is also not temporary. Even in the spiritual world, the devotees are wearing. So these are also, in fact, eternal symbols of devotees. Even in the spiritual world, they wear them. So now determination was so strong that I also want to embrace these. So he, seeing this, he fell into a state of unconsciousness. When he became conscious again, then he did not see that vision again. And he tried and tried, but he could not get that vision again. So it was a causeless mercy of his guru that he was, for a few seconds, he was able to have the vision of the sacred land of Navadvip. Now, after this vision, he was very firm in his determination. So, very next day in the morning, he went to the Ganges and he threw his ekdand. So, the Mayavadi sannyasis, they hold a stick which is called ekdand, whereas the Vaishnav sannyasis, they carry what is called tridand. So it has three sticks. So it is called Tridand. So he put his staff, that Ekdand staff, into the river, and then he took tulsi beads, he wore them, and also put the tilak on his forehead. And when he changed uh, his appearance like this, now he was not wearing that saffron clothes of a sannyasi. He actually embraced that those days. Most of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, those who were even in the renounced order like Premdas Babaji, they would typically wear white color clothes. So he embraced the Vaishnav dress, and as he was walking back from the river, from the Ganges, back to the ashram, so the residents of Godrum who had seen him before, as they saw him, they were very, very attracted by his new appearance as a Vaishnav, and they started paying obeisances to him. So see, Vaishnavas are so humble that this is someone who has just embraced the Vaishnav symbols and the Vaishnav dress, but those are the Vaishnavas who are paying obeisances to him. Seeing this, Sannyasi Mahashay, he actually became a bit disturbed. Now, what was the reason for his disturbance? He says that I have accepted this Vaishnav dress to become an object of the Vaishnav's mercy. But now I have met with another obstacle. What is that obstacle? Now he is receiving respect from others. See? So this is the quality of a real devotee, that he does not want any respect. So he quotes from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshashtakam. He says, I've heard from a Gurudev's mouth, Trinat api shunichen taror api sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari, that one should consider oneself to be more insignificant than a blade of grass and be more tolerant than a tree. So, see, nothing is more insignificant than a blade of a grass. So, most plants and flowers, they're growing up the ground, but a blade of grass is the lowest thing, right? At the level of the ground, and everyone walks on it, but it still does not complain. Similarly, the trees, they're so tolerant. We cut their branches, we take fruits from them, all kind of things the trees are giving, but they're still very, very tolerant, never complain. So what he's saying, that's how a devotee should be. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized this verse, that in this mood, and as well as Amanina Manade, not expecting any respect for ourselves, but giving respect to others. Very difficult. It's easily said than done. But at the same time, the truth is still we are able to come to this level of genuine humility. The transcendental experience of Krishna Prem will also not manifest within our heart. So to the degree that we realize the essence of this verse and embrace it, and it reflects genuinely within our character, to that extent, we will also realize the sweetness or the transcendental holy name as well as the Supreme Lord. So this is again a very, later on in Jaiva Dharma, this will be explained, in quite a bit of detail, but our whole process, it's to come to this point of humility, of genuine humility. Now, Sannyasi Mahashay, he's actually feeling that why people are paying obeisances to me. So generally, if someone comes and pay obeisances to you, you will feel very good, right? But that is only someone who's expecting respect will feel like. Otherwise, a devotee will feel that can cause some type of false pride in my mind. And the moment some false pride comes, that means that I am going to I'm going to get distracted from the path of pure bhakti. No, yesterday, day before yesterday was the disappearance day of Pujyapad Bhaktivedant Vaman Goswami Maharaj. So he was the god brother of our Gurudev and the Acharya of Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, a very, very humble Acharya. He, whenever, so when I had the good fortune of having his darshan a couple of times in Navadvip, during the parikrama. So he would not let anyone touch his feet. So if you went to his room also to pay obeisances, so there was a little bit, a small plaque would be there in front of his bed that please don't touch the feet. So he genuinely did not want anyone to touch his feet because he felt that he was not qualified, whereas he was actually such a great transcendental personality. So, this is the quality of a devotee that Sannyasi Mahashay is also exhibiting. He says that the very same Vaishnavas whom I consider to be my gurus are now offering obeisances to me. What will become of me? Right? So, see, when someone comes into the spiritual path, and as you start practicing bhakti and make some progress, it happens that people will, because bhakti has the potency to attract, and as it reflects within our heart, the people will come and they will pay respects to you, and they will bring gifts for you. But a devotee has to be very, very careful about all of these, because this has the potential of uh, bringing false pride within us. So he is being very careful. So this is another quality that he's manifesting of a true disciple. So then he approaches Babaji Mahashay, and what he says after that, we'll take like a 2-minute break here, so everyone gets a little bit refresher of what we discussed last time. So I'm just going to bring up a quick quiz as we always do, and this is from the last chapter. So if everyone takes 2 minutes, and let's see if you can answer these questions. This is what we discussed last time, and I also just briefly explained this at the start of the class. So hope everyone can see on this on your screen. Will take a couple of minutes. Okay, so I think let's see if someone else would like to answer. Yes. So well, let's just stop here and let's see what the answers are, correct answers. So I think first everyone got the correct answer. So that's absolutely correct. Second is also correct. So it is because of our different natures that we that our eternal religion appears to be distorted. So the correct answer is yes. The third is Sanatan Goswami. So this question was asked by Premdas Babaji from Sanatan Goswami. And in that assembly, others were also there, like Rupa Goswami, Jeev Goswami, they were also there. But Sanatan Goswami is the one who answered that question. And the fourth, also everyone got it right. So that's good sign that everyone is getting correct answers. So the fourth is this is the three categories of Vaishnavas, and the Kanishth Vaishnav or the neophyte Vaishnav is one who intermittently chants the holy name. Then an intermediate or Madhyam Vaishnav is one who constantly chants the holy name. And then the Uttam or the highest form of a Vaishnav, Uttam Adhikari, is one by seeing whom one starts chanting the holy name. So that's the characteristic of a Uttam Vaishnav. So that's good. So we'll continue. Now, so he approaches Premdas Babaji, and when Premdas Babaji sees that now Sannyasi Mahashay has given up his sannyasi dress and that he's wearing the tilak and kanthimala, he was overwhelmed with love and affection for him. And he called him, "O Vaishnav Das, today I have become successful by touching your previous body." With that statement, Sannyasi Thakur's previous name was forsaken. So when we get Harinam initiation, when we get the Diksha initiation, that time our name is changed from whatever our, the formal name, or as it called, the karmi name is. The Guru gives you a new name. And today he gave him the name Vaishnav Das. Vaishnav Das means servant of the devotees. So he received a new life that day and was now known as Vaishnav Das. Actually, the first birth that we have is from the womb of our mother, right? But the second birth is when we take initiation. So this is the real birth, because now we are initiated into spiritual life, and a process to become liberated from the cycle of birth and death has started. It may take some time, it may take a few lifetimes still, but the process has started. So this is a new life. So then that afternoon, so he now was also very in ecstasy, having received his name as Vaishnav Das. So that day in the afternoon, many Vaishnavs came to visit Babaji Mahashay. He used to stay in this place called Pradyumna Kunj. And they were all chanting, they were chanting the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Lord Nityananda. And there was a Tulsi plant, and some of them were doing parikrama of Tulsi. Many times when devotees chant, they keep a pot of Tulsi and sit next to Tulsi and do the chanting. That's actually, you get very nice vibrations, because Tulsi is Vrinda Devi. She is a great devotee, a Sakhi of Krishna, and she is the presiding deity of Vrindavan. So these devotees also were circumambulating Tulsi Devi and offering obeisances. At that time, Vaishnav Das also circumambulated Shri Vrinda Devi and rolled in the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Now, some of the Vaishnavas, seeing him, started whispering, "Oh, isn't he that sannyasi Thakur who used to be wearing, having that dress of a renunciant?" So now Sannyasi Mahashay, now his name is Vaishnav Das. So from this point onwards, in the following chapters, he will be referred as Vaishnav Das. So I will also now start calling him Vaishnav Das and not Sannyasi Mahashay or Sannyasi Thakur. So Vaishnav Das, he said, rolling on the ground before the Vaishnavas, he said, "Today my life has become successful, for I have obtained the dust of the Vaishnavas' lotus feet. By Gurudev's mercy, I have clearly understood that the Jiva has no destination unless he has the dust of the Vaishnav's feet. He's explaining the glories of the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Then he says a very important thing. He says, the dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, the water that washes their feet, and the nectar emanating from their lips. These three items are the medicine and the way of life for the patient who is afflicted with the disease of material existence. They are the cure for the entire material disease, and they're also the source of transcendental enjoyment for the healthy soul who has become free from this affliction. It's a very important point he's explaining. So we are all patients. We are all patients in a hospital. Which hospital? The hospital of this material world. And what disease we are suffering from? It's called Bhavarog, or the material conditioning. Having forgotten what our spiritual nature is, having forgotten the Supreme Lord, we are away from our eternal home. Just like when you're in hospital, you are not at your home. You're staying in a place to get cured. So similarly, this world is compared to either a prison or a hospital, where we are basically suffering because of the disease. And what is the medicine? What is the cure for this disease? He gives three things. The first, the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, which means offering obeisances to the devotees. See, when you offer obeisances, what does that mean? That means that you are surrendering. So it's not that the Vaishnava is expecting you to offer obeisances to him, right? So this is the person to whom you are offering obeisances. He's actually feeling that I am not worthy of these obeisances. And many times they will also bow down. But the one who is offering obeisances, he's doing it um, as a symbol or out of respect, understanding that it is only by the mercy of the devotees that I can make progress in spiritual life. So the Sanatan Dharma, or the Vaishnav philosophy, the Vaishnav culture, is based on showing proper respect to everyone, and especially those who are spiritual guides, the spiritual master, and those who are helping us in our spiritual journey. Just like, when we show respect to the teacher nowadays, of course, in the schools and colleges also, students typically don't show any respect. When we were growing up in many years ago, in schools in India, whenever the teacher will come in the classroom, everyone will stand and say good morning or good afternoon. So it was, a mark of respect. Now, so showing respect to elders, right? It is a very important aspect of the Sanatan Dharma, a very important aspect of our culture, and more so in the Vaishnav tradition. So this is a mood of surrender when we bow down and take the dust from the feet of the Vaishnavas, and then water that washes their feet. So, and then also the nectar coming from the lotus lips. So this is, I when we talk of the nectar, so the nectar is of two types. One, the katha that is coming from their lips, and the other is the remnants of the food that they have taken, the prasad that they have taken. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that when we offer to the Lord, that bhog becomes Mahaprasad. And when the pure devotees of the Lord, they take that Mahaprasad, and whatever their remnants are, that becomes Maha Prasad. And by taking that Maha Prasad, we become qualified to receive the mercy of the Lord. In Chaitanya Charitamrit, in Ante Leela, there's a very beautiful pastime. So there was a great devotee, his name was Kalidas, and he was an uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. His what was his favorite thing, or what he used to do? he would go to the homes of the Vaishnavas and find the remnants of their food and very happily take them. Now, he belonged to a high class family. He was from a rich family and also from a high class family. But he would even go to the Vaishnavas who were from different other groups. See, in the Vaishnav culture, in the Vaishnav tradition, or when we talk of Vaishnavas, there is absolutely no um, importance or relevance of which caste one is born in, or which community or which country one is born in. That is not the qualification of a Vaishnava. In fact, it is considered very offensive that if one identifies a Vaishnava by the birth where he has taken. The only quality of a Vaishnava is that he is a surrendered devotee of Shri Krishna. So he would go even to the house of so-called Shudras. So according to the castes that are there, the one who are in the lower caste, but they were also Vaishnavas. So he would even go and try to take their remnants. So one time he went to the house of Vaishnav. His name was Jhadu Thakur, and he was actually from a low caste. Now, this lower high caste is not prescribed in the Vedic scriptures. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varna Maya Srishtam Gun Karma Vibhagashah, that I've created these 4 divisions of the society, but these divisions are not based on birth, right? As unfortunately, that's how it became in India, but that is not what the scriptures say. What scripture says is gun karma vibhagashah, according to one's qualities and one's inclinations. Gun karma. So gun is qualities and karma means one's activities. So according to these two, one's division within the society is described. So Brahman's son may have inclination to fight. So he may be a kshatriya. A kshatriya's son may have the inclination to just do some labor type of work. So these were just names of, just like we have even today, we have teachers, we have politicians, we have people who are in the army, and then we have people who do different kind of labor work. But it is not that one is disrespected because of that, because to run the society we need all type of people. So everyone is doing, and everyone is respected because they're all doing their part. So anyways, so he went to Jhadu Thakur's house and then begged for the remnants of his food. And Jhadu Thakur said, "Oh Prabhu, how can I do this? You belong to such a high class family. You are such a great devotee of the Lord. Please, I cannot give you any remnants like this." So that time, Kalidas, he quoted from the scriptures where the Lord himself is saying that my devotee, even if he's born in a low-class family, Shwapachaha, even in the family of dog eaters, but because he's a devotee, he has surrendered to me and he's chanting the holy name, he has to be considered very high class, the top of the society. So like this he quoted, but Jhadu Thakur said no, because he was also Vaishnav, very humble. He said, no, I cannot do this. So anyways, he left. But when he had come to see Jhadu Thakur, as a gift, he had brought in a basket many mangoes. So when he left, Jhadu Thakur, he saw that he had brought some mangoes. So he told his wife, "Oh, Prabhu brought some mangoes, so please offer them to Thakurji." And then she washed it, and then after offering, gave some to her husband. So he ate those mangoes, and whatever the seeds, so when you eat a mango, the skin and the seed, kept it on the banana leaf. So like he ate 2-3 mangoes, then his wife ate 2-3 mangoes, and all the seeds and the skin of the mangoes went and put in the refuse, or the place where the garbage was kept. Now see, Kalidas, this devotee who had brought, he had not gone anywhere. He was actually hiding behind the bushes, waiting for them to eat the mangoes, so that when the remnants they will throw away, he will go and take those remnants. So he actually went there, he took those seeds and skin and started, eating those remnants, and he was dancing in ecstasy. Now, for us, it may be very, very difficult to conceive this, right? Because we are in a conditioned state. But here we are talking of Vaishnavas who are in that liberated state. The point here is that the remnants of a devotee are very, very powerful. And see how, because of this, and this he would do on a routine basis, he will go to devotees' homes, take some gifts for them, like food items, and then when they will eat and whatever was left over, he will quietly go and take it, and and in great ecstasy honor it. So they, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that time was in Jagannath Puri. So every year devotees will go during the Rath Yatra time to take darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and participate in the Rath Yatra. So when they all went, he got special mercy of Mahaprabhu. How? So Mahaprabhu every day he would go to Jagannath temple, and before going in there he will wash his feet, and devotees will try to take that water which had washed the feet of Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu had strictly forbidden that nobody will do that. Still some devotees, would once in a while somehow will get a drop or two. But when Kalidas came, he went there and Mahaprabhu was washing his feet. So he put his hands, two hands like this, like a palm, two palms like this, and then he took water in there and then he drank like this. And then he took another, two palmful of water and then drank. Then after two, three times, Mahaprabhu said, no, now it's enough. But he had not allowed anyone to take water of his from the water that had washed his transcendental feet, nobody else. But because of how Kalidas would honor the Vaishnavas, he got that eligibility. Then when Mahaprabhu went to his place, so he used to stay in a place called Gambhira. Today also you can go to Puri and get darshan, a very small room where Mahaprabhu will stay. So he came and sat outside. So Mahaprabhu asked his servant Govind, what does he want? So Govind said, and Mahaprabhu also understood that he has come to take the remnants of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu happily told Govinda, go and give him the remnants of my food. So see, this is Mahaprabhu's Krishna himself. So he was so happy by the humility of Kalidas and that how he gave respect to the Vaishnavas, that he showed his mercy by giving his remnants to him. So these verses, beautiful verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he says, Bhakta pad dhuli ar bhakta pad jal, bhakta bhukta avashesh teen mahabal. So he says that the dust of the feet of a devotee, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, and the remnants of food left by a devotee are three very powerful substances. And when we talk of the remnants, like Bhaktuna Thakur is explaining here, that also means, because this is coming from their mouth, right? Remnants coming from the mouth, that also means that katha, or the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, the chanting of the holy name coming from the lotus lips of the devotees, if we accept it, very with great respect, that is a very powerful substance. He says, "Eighteen seva hete Krishna prema hoy, punah punah sarva shastre pukhariya kay." By rendering service to these three, one attains the supreme goal of ecstatic love for Krishna. In all the revealed scriptures, this is loudly declared again and again. And then he says, Tate bar bar kahi shuna bhaktagan, vishwas kariya kar 18:7. Therefore, my dear devotees, please hear from me, for I insist again and again, please keep faith in these three and render service to them without hesitation. So he's saying, have strong faith that this actually is the medicine for our conditioned life. So like this, he then very humbly said that, I had taken birth in a Brahman family, then taken sannyas. I was very educated in the scriptures, and all of this inculcated a huge amount of pride within me, that pride that knew no bounds. And only after I became attracted to the Vaishnav principles, a seed of humility was sown in my heart. In fact, in most other processes, as one progresses, you tend to become very proud. But in Vaishnav process, in this process, if one genuinely follows it, then um, the what's the word? Then the symptom of that one is making progress in the on the path of bhakti is that he will become more and more humble. So he says that I was being ruined by my false ego of being a Brahman, by my learning, and by my status as a sannyasi. I submit all this before your lotus feet with full simplicity. Now, hearing this, the other Vaishnavas, so he's asking for their mercy. The other Vaishnavas who had all come to visit Premdas Babaji, they started saying, no, we are eager to obtain the dust of the feet of a Vaishnav like you. So see how beautiful the exchange between devotees used to be, right? We sometimes don't see this today, but this is how they would do it. Dadati prati grihnati, guhyam akhyati prichati. Rupa Goswami also explains in Upadeshamrit that how devotees exchange, respect. They give respect to each other, and they also discuss confidential topics. They ask questions and discuss katha with each other. So these devotees are saying, the other Vaishnavas, that please purify us by making us your associates. The scriptures say that bhakti is obtained through associating with devotees like yourself. So then they quote a very beautiful verse from Brihat Naridya Puran. We will discuss this and then conclude today's class. So let me bring up this. So in this verse, it says, give me 1 second. Yeah, okay. It says, Bhakti tu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangain Parijayate Sat Sangah Prapyate Pumbhi Sukritahi Purva Sanchitaha. So very, very important, verse where it is explained that how bhakti actually comes. Bhakti is awakened when one associates with bhaktas of Sri Bhagwan. So only from the association with devotees do we get bhakti. Association with pure devotees or Shuddh Bhaktas is attained only by the accumulation of transcendental pious activities performed over many lifetimes. So first he's saying that bhakti only comes from association with devotees, right? So what does that mean? So if you want, for example, if you want to earn money, right? Or if you want some money, you have to go to someone who has money, right? So if you want to earn money, you have to work for a company which has money. If they don't have money, they can't give you anything. If you want to learn something, for example, you want to learn piano, you have to go to someone who knows how to play piano. Then only he can teach you. So similarly, only someone who has devotion in his or her heart, only such a person can actually also train you in the process of devotional service. So bhakti comes from bhakti. Bhagvat tu bhakti, bhakta sangain parijayate. So only in the association of devotees that one is able to one is able to learn the process of bhakti. And how does one get association of devotees? He says, when one has the accumulated sukriti, we have, as discussed before also, sukriti means activities, pious activities, or activities that are done in relation to the process of bhakti, in relation to the Lord. So this is distinctly different from pious activity. So pious activity can be like giving in charity money to someone, feeding someone who's hungry, helping someone, taking someone to a hospital or building a hospital. All of these are pious activities. These are good activities, but these activities give us some pious credits. But those credits take us to heavenly planets or give us a lot of luxury and wealth in life. But then they also get exhausted, right? But they do not take us to the path of bhakti, even though because of performing things in mode of goodness, one can come towards the performance of doing sukritis. But sukriti is activities that are in relation to the Lord. For example, someone gave you prasad, someone gave you sweets. Now, you did not know that this is prasad, but just because it's sweet and you like it, you ate it. So unknowingly, you have performed some sukriti. So some sukritis are performed knowingly, and some could be done unknowingly. Someone invited you to come to the temple because they are having, a ceremony for their child, and you normally don't go to the temple, but because it's a family friend, you went there. You went to the temple, you heard chanting, you heard the holy name, you did parikrama. So all of these become sukriti. So he says, when this becomes accumulated for a long period of time, and one has accumulated enough of these transcendental pious activities over many lifetimes, then one gets association of a devotee. So just like, if you have to purchase something, right? So for example, if you want to buy an iPhone, a child, a teenager wants to buy an iPhone, and he doesn't have enough money. So what will he do? He will save over a period of time. The gifts that he's getting from birthday gifts, he may do some little work, or slowly from and maybe his parents say, oh well, if you get a grade every time, we'll give you $10, right? So like this, he does accumulate some money, and once he has sufficient amount of money, then only he's able to go and purchase that iPhone. Otherwise he can't. So similarly, we have to have accumulation of enough of this sukriti to get association of pure devotees, ado shraddha tatha sadhu sang. So in this process, which again in a later chapters we will discuss, the 9 steps of how one comes to the stage of prem. The first step is steps where it says ado. Ado means from many lifetimes where we have accumulated sukritis, sufficient stock of these transcendental pious activities, then we obtain the association of devotees. So like this, they explain a very important point, and after this, we will start in the next class that how another character is now introduced in this storyline, or in this the the pastime that are being described here, and that person will now ask a very interesting question. So we'll discuss that next time. Okay. So Hare Krishna. Let's see if anyone has any questions. Okay, if you have any question as you read through it, I would request that after class, take some time, 15-20 minutes, half an hour during the week to read the portion we covered, the first 4-5 pages of the 3rd chapter. And then if you have any questions, you can ask next time. And also just reading the chapter again will help you revise and understand it better. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll meet now next week. I will send the in the WhatsApp group, but we will have to meet on Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time, which will be 12 noon Eastern. And the reason for that is, starting next Saturday, we have Bhishma Panchak, so the last 5 days of Kartik. So every single day we have a program in the evening. So Saturday morning, we will have the English class right after our Hindi Jaiva class. So hopefully, you can all join. So we'll meet next Saturday. Okay. Hare Krishna, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari
Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.